So what's happening?
Just trying to get our feet wet and get the kinks out.
Yeah, just trying to get. And you had the rain. I get you had the weather with the lightning and all that. But is this weather conducive to kind of finding out what you got here in the first couple of days?
Oh yeah, you know, it was hot yesterday during the run test. Today it cooled off a little bit, but we ran a lot of plays, so it's kind of getting guys in shape. So we'll see what happens.
This may seem like a ridiculous question. You nervous at all? You anxious? I mean, it's big for you.
Nervous? No. Anxious? No, because we got a lot of work to do. But, you just keep your head down. It's football. It hasn't changed. If you make it bigger than it is, then you don't need to be here.
You waited a long time for this opportunity. Is this what you expected it to be so far up to this point?
Oh, day one, yeah. Everything's good on day one. The guys are enthusiastic about getting out there. Everybody's running around. You got to calm them down a little bit. Days 2, 3, 4, and 5 is when camp really sets in and the legs get tired and everything else. So then you kind of see what guys got mentally.
Coming in now, day one, is Geno Smith your number one quarterback? I don't want to say starter, but as far as the depth chart is concerned, is he your number one?
Yeah, he's been the number one all spring, all summer, and he's the number one coming in. It's day one, so yeah, he's number one.
But there's always competition, right? I mean, you signed.
Oh, there's big competition. There's competition at every spot. No more than Geno. You don't have 2 or 3 guys running first team. You have one guy running first team. Whether it's Brandon and Decker, whether it's Curley and Smith, whether whoever it is, Geno's the number one quarterback. And to unseat the guy that's the starter, he has to mess up, and then you have to play great. And that's just how sports go.
So was Fitzpatrick brought in here to be the backup or brought in here as a guy that, hey, maybe can push my number one quarterback?
He was brought in here to compete and push the number one quarterback. And if he proves to be the better quarterback, then so be it.
So could you see a scenario that week 1 against the Browns at MetLife that Ryan Fitzpatrick is the starting quarterback?
No, I could see them competing, and whoever works out wins. I don't try to dictate who the starting quarterback is. We run plays, we get practice, we see who commands the offense and runs the team better, and we go from there.
Now, everybody's excited about Petty because we've seen a lot of quarterbacks in that situation get drafted late, come in, make a splash. But in the way, the pecking order you have, can he get the reps to impress you and move up the depth chart here early on?
He can get the reps to get better and get smarter, but you still have to see a whole bunch of things. It would be unfair. It's very unprecedented that there are some rookie quarterbacks that come in and make a splash, but preseason you're not going to see the things you see regular season. It may look fine and dandy, and it's going to be very generic, and you're going to say this guy played great and that guy played great. Then the first game of the season, you're going to see completely different things than you saw in preseason, so that would be unfair to say. He'll get a bunch of reps, but he still won't see half the things that he's going to see during the season.
It's unusual for Russell Wilson. It's unusual for a guy to make the jump from the college level and to start in the NFL right away. That's not the rule.
It happens.
It happens, but that's the exception to the rule. That's not the rule.
The exception. RG3 had a great year his first year. Sure. Russell came in. Obviously, Marino, Luck. There are guys that's done it. There are guys that done it, but there's been a lot of guys that's waited.
Talking to Todd Bowles, head coach of the New York Jets, here on the first day of training camp, getting ready for the 2015 season. We've talked to a few players, and they all seem to believe that you run a little bit of a tighter ship than Rex Ryan. Now, you didn't know what was going on. You weren't here. But did you get a sense that things from your players are run a little bit tighter this time around than they were under the previous regime?
No, you try not to listen. There's like 3 sides to every story, And now that the coach is gone, everybody can't be great. He's an outstanding coach, so it can't be all his fault. It's got to be fault for everybody. And I think you just take onus. There's always going to be comparisons when you change coaches or players. So I don't pretty much, that's outside noise. I just try to focus on the job at hand. I wasn't here last year. I don't know what was happening, but I just try to go forward and be who I am and get the team ready to play that I know how to get ready to play.
You're a defensive-minded coach. You love defense. You did a great job with Arizona last year. You have on paper, and I know it's on paper and we're at the end of July, so we're not there yet, but you have a defense that looks like it could be pretty special this year.
On paper, it doesn't count. We're trying to build chemistry, and like I said, we're not trying to be the number one defense or the number one offense. We're trying to win games. It's all relative in things you do. If you're up 30-0 and the team's going to throw 60 times, your pass defense is going to look bad. So it's all relative in the things that goes on with the statistics. We're just trying to win ball games.